Wow, that's probably what you're sitting there saying. What is going on in this class? What is it they're telling us? It looks like we have some extremely strange results. And I think it's worth trying to analyze exactly what's going on here so we really understand what this paradox is. And I've tried to do that by summarizing the important claims that are being made to see maybe we can figure out by looking at it what's gone wrong with this. Well, look at where they're starting. They're starting from sort of the assumption that either one or two things. Either you know what something is or you don't know what this is. Either you know what a P thing is or you don't know what a P thing is. Think of P as a substitute for any property, for any characteristic of something. So take a person S. Either the person knows what P is or the person doesn't know what P is. No third alternative. If you know what P is, then the person doesn't know. The person who knows that doesn't need to search, doesn't need to learn P. In fact, he can't learn P because he's already learned it somewhere. On the other hand, if he doesn't know what it is, then this person S can never search or learn what P is. The reason being that they could search it, but they'll never find it. They'll never learn it because they wouldn't know that they found it. Right? Well, either you know what it is or you don't. That's true. If you know what it is, you can't learn it. If you can't know what it is, you can't learn it. So the conclusion that it seems that we're being driven to is it's impossible to ever search for or learn anything. Now, this is really, really a strange conclusion, as I mentioned earlier. This is probably one of the wackiest, if not the craziest thing that you've ever heard. Never heard anything like this in any other class. Maybe you've heard about people thinking in funny ways, but this is exactly why this is a paradox, because it seems obvious to everybody that it's possible to learn things. In fact, you spent, probably 12 years of your life so far learning things, and now you're at least on your 13th, maybe more than that. So this is really a strange, strange place for us to end up in this paradox. And notice this thing makes perfect sense, right? Let me just show you. Let me give you sort of an analogous kind of argument. A lot of you have been on the Belt Parkway going west from, you get on at Ocean Parkway or Coney Island Avenue right around the block, so to speak, from Kingsborough, and you're in somebody's car or you're in a taxi or somebody, I guess maybe a truck or a bus. Well, buses don't go on the Belt Parkway, but you're going on the Belt Parkway towards the Verrazano Bridge, and you go a little ways and you hit Bay Parkway. Bay Parkway, for those who don't know, maybe those of you who are from like the Bronx and other foreign countries, bad joke, I'm sorry. Bay Parkway is in a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Bensonhurst. So we're now leaving Bensonhurst, and we hit the junction in the road. Where's the junction? We either have to get off on the ramp for the Verrazano Bridge or we continue straight. Now, if we get off on the Verrazano Bridge, if we get off at the exit for the Verrazano Bridge, we're no longer in We're not going to be in Bensonhurst. And if we continue straight towards the Gowanus, we're going to be in Bay Ridge in Brooklyn, a different neighborhood. So it doesn't matter. We have two possibilities, right? We're driving along. Either we're going to end up on the Verrazano Bridge going to Staten Island, not in Bensonhurst, or in Bay Ridge and on through some other neighborhoods later on. Either way, we're not going to end up in Bensonhurst. So the conclusion from that is that, we are no longer gonna be in Bensonhurst. It looks extremely close to this kind of argument. So we're really stuck with this paradoxical conclusion. Okay, but let's go back to kind of our summary. Our summary. So we now have what the paradox of inquiry is. And now, here's what's going to happen. Socrates is going to answer. He's going to show what's wrong with that argument by guiding a boy through a simple proof. And the kid's going to go through this process going from having true beliefs to knowledge by recalling what his soul previously knew. You don't buy it. Well, first of all, one thing to think about is what's the alternative, but let's take a quick look at the text. And what does Socrates tell? We're bound on line 81 now. Meno, well, doesn't this argument appear to you to be a good one, Socrates? Socrates says, no. Can you say in what way? The same way I asked you guys a couple of minutes ago. What is wrong with that argument? Well, you guys, I think, are scratching your head. And if you're not scratching your head, do me a favor. You got your paper? Stop the video now. I want you to write down the solution. If it's a problem, you think it's crazy. So let's stop right here. Let me just go back and get, my summary of the paradox. There it is, right in front of your face. What is the solution? I mean, we see Socrates is coming up with what might be considered a little bit of an odd solution. But what is the solution to the paradox? And, it's easy to say you found it, but write it down.